Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another TFT video. Spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled for set 6, do not watch any more of the video. But this video is going to talk about the leaks for set 6 TFT, which got leaked by China. Apparently, they always leak things, and so they've done it again. Set 6 has been leaked, which will be coming out in on the PBE in 4 or 5 days. And we've got all the units for set 6 that have been leaked, as well as the traits and origins. Basically, the only thing that hasn't been leaked is the abilities and the stats of the unit. So we're not sure what their abilities do. You know, do they scale with AP or AD, that sort of thing. So first of all, I'm just going to quickly list every single unit that will be in set 6. So we'll start with the 1 costs. We've got Singed, Twitch, Caityln, Graves, Garen, Camille, Illaoi, Swain, Ezreal, Ziggs, Darius, Twisted Fate, Poppy, and Kassadin. One thing I wanted to point out is Ziggs has 3 Synergies: Scrap, Yordle, and Arcanist. Ziggs, well, he's returned as a 1 cost for set 6. He was a 1 cost in set 5.5, and he's back, and he could be even stronger. Welcome back, Ziggs. And then the 2 costs, we've got Warwick, Vi, Katarina, Zilean, Quinn, Talon, Blitzcrank. Oh, Talon, baby. Oh yeah, I like it. Blitzcrank, Trundle, Zyra, Lulu, Tristana, and Cogmore. Cogmore also has 3 Synergies as well as Blitzcrank. And so does Vi, but that's because she's got a synergy with Jinx, which we'll talk about later. 3 costs, we've got Lissandra, Zac, Leona, Gangplank, Misfortune, Samira, Echo, Shaco, Heimerdinger, another unit with 3 synergies, Vex, Turek, and Cho'Gath, another unit with 3 synergies, and Malzahar. Then the 4 costs, so these are going to be usually your Fast 8 carries, your 4 cost carries. Urgot, Dr. Mundo, Fiora, Lux, Yone, Oriana, Sion, Janna, Braum, and Seraphine. And then the big boys, the 5 costs, the legendaries. Who is it? We have got Victor, Jace, Yuumi, Tom, Kench, Jinx, Akali, Veigar, Galio, and Kai'Sa. Now, one thing I want to keep in mind, or let you guys know, is Veigar is listed as a Yordle, which is his origin, but he does not have a trait. I don't know exactly what this means. Does this mean this is some sort of mistake? He's not actually going to be in the game, you know, some sort of mistake with the league, or maybe this means something else, because Yordle has an effect where it generates Yordle, so maybe you can't actually buy Veigar. Maybe he's just generated. Maybe he's gonna be one-shotting the whole board. We don't know, but it's, is this the first time ever there's been a unit that does not have a trait? So we're unsure what this means. So just keep that in mind. And so those are all the units I've actually made a team comp for Jhin. But before we go over my team comp I've made for Jhin, that I think is going to be one of the first comps that I'm going to be looking to build when the PBE does come out, let's go over all the origins and traits and the units that go in these synergies. Firstly, shout out to the user who made this cheat sheet, which is from Reddit, is SDGEDFEGW. That's his username. And also shout out to the guy who did most of the translations, 3 stars, Magikarp. So starting off, we have got Syndicates. We've got Darius, Twisted Fate, Zyra, Shaco, Braum, and Akali. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right. And let's have a look at the effect. A selected Syndicate will hide in the shadows, gaining 20% Omnivamp, 50 armor, and 50 magic resist. I think if we were to compare it, it would be kind of like Redeemed right now. If we were going to compare it to anything in 5.5, it would be kind of like Redeemed. And it's a bit different, but it's similar, because I'm pretty sure Redeem gets armor and magic resist. Anyway, at 3, the Syndicate with the current lowest percentage HP. So I think it consistently changes during the fight, the percentage HP. Anyway, I'm not too sure, but at 5 there is a huge difference, because now all Syndicate members get the buff, and at 7 it's even more crazy. All allies get the buff, but on top of that, the effect is doubled with Syndicate. So that means there'll be 40% Omnivamp, 100 armor, and 100 magic resist. But like I said, there's only 6 Syndicates, so it'd be pretty difficult to get 7. But if you get 7, it's probably like an automatic win. It's pretty insane, and it does have Darius, which is probably a decent... yeah, I think it's going to be very... I'm not sure. Braum's probably going to be some sort of tank. So you do have like Darius and Braum, who can be like the front line if you want to go with Syndicates. And it has 2 assassins. We're going to talk about assassins later, but it does have Shaco and Akali as 2 assassins. So maybe like Syndicate assassins. Could be a very good team comp. Anyway, now we go on to a Hextech sister. So this is a shout out to Arcane, which will be coming out in November. The show, which is going to focus on the story between Vi and Jinx, and they're going to be coming to TFT as well, and they're going to have their own synergy. And Hextech sister, this is badly translated, I think, but I'll try my best to explain it. Hextech sister fight together. Increase skill range by 2 hexes. Now, I believe this is only for Vi, so it increases the ability range of Vi's ability by 2 hexes. We have no idea what that ability does, but it's probably a pretty good effect to have. And then every time Jinx participates in a takedown, she gains 50% attack speed bonus for 3 seconds. So that seems like a pretty good effect. And we're probably going to see some sort of Jinx Vi comp. So I think Vi is a Brute and Jinx is a TwinShot. So it's going to be like Brutes, TwinShots would be the Vi. I think that's probably going to be a very common... that's going to definitely be a very common comp. I think Brutes and TwinShots, we'll talk about Brutes later, but Brutes seem to be like the best tanky kind of units to go with based on what I've read, but we'll talk about them later. Next, we've got Scrap. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got Ezreal, Ziggs, Blitzcrank, Trundle, Echo, Janna, and Jinx. Now, Scrap is a very interesting effect. It's badly kind of translated here, but I'll try my best. Once again, every item equipped will give 70 shield. I think it's actually 70 armor for Scrap. At the start of a battle, certain amount of components equipped by Scrap will become temporary complete items during the battle. 2 is 1 component, 4 is 3 components. Now, ignore 6. 6, don't read the... it says the bonus by components will be doubled, but basically it just means all components. What does this mean? Basically, it means if you have half an item, or if you've just got 1 component on a unit, then it will be transformed to a random full item with that component. And at 2, it will just be one of the components becomes a full item, and at 4, 3 of them becomes a full item, and at 6, all of them that just are half an item will become a full item. So basically what this synergy wants you to do is build half items instead of full items, which is very interesting. If you get to 6, it could be very insane, because now you could have like double the items of everyone else. The only problem with it is it does have an RNG element to it. So that means, you know, you could get a little bit unlucky and get like items you don't need at all. So there is an RNG element to it. So I don't know how good this is going to be, but it is fairly interesting. We'll see how it plays out. Then we've got Mercenary, which has Illaoi, Quinn, Gangplank, Misfortune, and Tom Kench. Gets a treasure chest at the start of the battle. If player win the battle, can open the chest. During preparation phase, player will roll a dice to determine the reward inside the chest. If player lose the next battle, the rewards will increase. If player lose multiple battle, player have better luck at rolling the dice. Probably means higher numbers, better rewards. Throw 2 dice at 2. Throw 2 dice. I think it means... whatever. Dice results will be better. And at 7, when player win, they will get an extra bonus. Think Fortune 6. So this is basically going to be like the Draconic trait. So if we're talking about 5.5 Draconic trait, and like this guy says, like Fortune. I didn't really play TFT during Fortune, so I'm not exactly sure how it worked. But basically, this is the synergy or the origin that will give you value. It gives you no stats, you know, it doesn't give you attack speed or AD or AP or anything, armor, nothing. It doesn't give you anything, but it gives you value in the long run. So this is going to be the money generator kind of like Draconic is now, which usually makes your board weak and you're going to lose HP, but it's for the payoff. It's for the long-term payoff. So we'll see if that's going to be any good. Draconic is fairly bad. 5 Draconic is pretty bad right now. 3 is decent, but you very rarely see people go to 5 because you just end up dying. Unless you're playing in the lower ranks or against weaker players, then you can go for it. But anyway, next we've got Imperial. Imperial, we've got Swain, Talon, Samira, and Scion. Just the 4. At the beginning of battle, the unit that dealt the most damage in the previous battle will be crowned Emperor, which causes them to deal increased damage. When the Emperor falls, the next Imperial unit that deals the highest amount of damage in the battle will be crowned the new Emperor. And at 3, you get 60% bonus damage at 5. So you're going to need some sort of spatula to get 5 because we've only got the 4. You get 100%. So I think at 5, that's pretty insane damage. At 3 is not too hard to get because we just got Swain, Talon, and Samira, so this could be a decent, kind of early comp that can carry you through the mid game with the 60% extra damage. Maybe we'll see some sort of Talon or Samira reroll with Imperials, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Next, we got Enforcers with Caityln, Vibe, Fiora, and Jace. This is another interesting little effect. So, remove a unit from the opposing team for 4 seconds. So, think like Zephyr. Zephyr removes a unit for 6 seconds. So, it is a weaker Zephyr. So, this synergy doesn't give you any bonus stats or anything. It just gives you a Zephyr. And at 2, it removes the unit with the highest HP. So, it removes their big tank. That could be very good, especially if you want to get to the backline a lot quicker. And then at 4, the unit that did the most damage in the previous battle. And I think this is an add-on effect, so I think you actually Zephyr, at 4, you'll Zephyr both the highest HP unit and the unit that did the most damage last battle. So that does sound kind of insane, especially in the late game. In the early game, it's pretty useless, but in the late game, it could be very strong. It's hard to really evaluate something like this. 4 seconds is a lot shorter than the current Zephyr though, so keep that in mind. Then we got Clockwork, which has Camille, Zilean, Orianna, and Jhin. All allies gain attack speed, so this gives a buff to all allies, kind of like, it's not exactly how Invokers does mana, right? But this does attack speed, so we've got like I said, Camille, Zilean, Orianna, and Jhin, and then at 2, 15% attack speed and additional 5% per Hextech enhancements. I don't think we know what a Hextech enhancements are just yet. And then 20 attack speed and additional 15% per Hextech enhancement. So Jhin, we've got Jhin. Now we're gonna see some Jhin comps. Like I said, I made a Jhin comp, and we'll talk about that at the end of the video. Now, these two are not origins, they are traits, so I'll come back to them. I want to go through the origins first. So next we've got Chemtech. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got Singe, Twitch, Warwick, Lysandra, Zac, Dr. Mundo, Urgot, and Victor. When Chemtech unit drop below 60% HP, they gain 25% damage reduction and 50% attack speed and restore 4% max HP per second. And then 3 is 4 seconds duration, 5 is 8 seconds duration, 7 is 15 seconds duration, and then 9, which is going to be very hard to get, is until battle ends. Now, getting 7 is actually pretty easy since we've got 3, 6, 7, we've got 8 units here, so getting 7 is pretty easy. This does seem like it could be a decent origin here. I think this synergy could be pretty strong. If you're looking at the carries, I'm guessing Victor will be more AP, so I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if Victor will benefit a lot from attack speed. Maybe this will actually be some sort of Urgot carry comp. Obviously, because, I'm guessing Urgot's going to be building damage / tanky items with attack speed. His other trait we'll talk about later. Mundo is probably just a tank. Zac's probably just a tank. Warwick, more or less, probably just a tank. Lysandra, I'm not sure if she benefits much from attack speed or the damage reduction. So I'm thinking this is probably just going to be an Urgot carry sort of synergy. Anyway, now we're on to Academy. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 2 years. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got Graves, Garen, Katarina, Leona, Lux, Leon. He's back. And Yuumi. Oh no, Yuumi in TFT, my most hated League of Legends champion, has come back to torture me in TFT as well. When allies cast spells, Academy champions gain AD and AP. So this is going to be some sort of spell comp. So you're looking for tiers. You're looking for Shojins, and you get 15 AD and AP, and then it goes up to 4 per skill cost, and it's 30, and then goes up 7 by skill cost, and 50, up by 10, 70, up by 15. So it's not like a big payoff right at the end. So how much was there? There's 7 of them. I don't think it's probably going to be that much worth it to go for the 8. But 6 could be decent. I'm not too sure on the numbers. I'm trying to think how big these numbers are. I would have to compare them to the current set. Compare it to something like skirmishes, or what else do we have here? I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, let's just keep going. Then we got Transformer, which is an own effect for Jace. Jace has 2 forms. Will change depending on its position on the board. Probably melee and range stance, basically. Yeah. So it's just Jace's own effect. Yuumi also has her own effect. Cuddy, but I think when you read this, you want to read it as Yuumi. Yuumi attaches to the nearest ally at the beginning of the battle. Every 2 seconds, she will reattach to the lowest HP unit. Yuumi will give her host a shield based on 75% of her max HP. If the shield is destroyed, Yuumi will leave the host. Yuumi cannot attack, but gain 5 mana per second. When the host attacks, Yuumi will gain 10 mana. So Yuumi is going to be a support champion, pretty much the same as League of Legends. He's going to be like a support champion that doesn't do damage, but supports your carry. Then you got celebrities, which is Taric, Seraphine, and Galio, just the 3. Celebrities form a spotlight on the board. Units standing in the spotlight at the beginning of the battle will gain unique bonuses. At number 1, so you just need 1 celebrity to start getting some bonuses, and that is 15% damage bonus. Decent for sure. And then at number 2, you go and restore 5 mana per second. So you really only want to go for number 2 if your carry requires mana, which most of the time usually does, but maybe they don't. And then at 3, 20% Omnivamp. Then get a certain percentage of treatment from all damage. No clue what this means. So they get something at 3 as well. So yeah, you probably see most people only run 1 or 2. Then maybe 3, depending on how good this 3 is. But you really only run 2 if you need the mana on your carry. Then Tahm Kench, another legendary unit. He also has his own effect. During the preparation phase, it's called Glutton. During the preparation phase, player can choose to sacrifice their units to Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench gains 5% of the sacrificed unit's base HP, AD, armor, and magic resist. To sacrifice, player just needs to hover the unit over Tahm Kench until his mouth is open and let go to have it consumed. So this is going to be very cool. Very cool to play Tahm Kench, and I'm looking forward to playing some Tahm Kench in this new set. He's going to be a very tanky boy. Mutant, which is like Void. Mutant, Kassadin, Kog'Maw, Cho'Gath, Malzahar, Dr. Mundo, and Kai'Sa. Whenever an ally dies, Mutant Champion gains additional AP and AD. So it's not when a Mutant ally dies, it's whenever an ally dies. 12 AD and AP, and then at 5, 24 AD and AP. So this will be a pretty good synergy in the mid game, I think. You know, for example, you can easily get Kassadin, Kog'Maw, and then either Cho'Gath or Malzahar to carry you through the mid game. I'm not sure if you'll ever be going for 5, but I think you will see a lot of people just running the 3 mutants, which is actually what I've got in the Jhin comp, because I kind of got Jhin alongside Kog'Maw, which we'll talk about a bit later. Then we need to scroll down to, I think there's just the one more origin, which is Yordles. I don't know why they put it right at the end. It's kind of in the wrong order, but anyway. The Yordles, we've got Poppy, Ziggs, Lulu, Tristana, Heimerdinger, Vex, and Veigar. And like I said before, Veigar doesn't have a trait, so we're not too sure how he works. But at number 3, after a battle, a random Yordle will be added to the player's bench. So this is another synergy that doesn't give you any stats. It gives you no stats whatsoever, but it gives you value that will increase in the long run. So likely, if you're playing Yordles, your board will be weaker. You will be sacking some rounds, but hopefully it will pay off in the long run. And then at 6, they do get some sort of stat. Yordle's mana cost will be reduced by 20%. So depending on how good their abilities are, if they got some insane abilities, then it could be very good. And like I said, I think maybe because of this effect, that might be the only way to generate Veigar. Maybe Veigar, you cannot purchase him in the shop. Now we can scroll all the way back up and talk about the traits. So that's all the origins. Now we can talk about the traits. And the first one is Arcanist. We have got Swain, Twisted Fate, Ziggs, Malzahar, Vex, Lux, Victor. And on top of that, there is a unit that doesn't have a cost, which is a Lissandra. And you're going to see this throughout the traits. It's also a different Lissandra to the Lissandra that... this Lissandra here at Chemtech, it's a 3 cost. It's a different skin. So we don't know what this means. It might be a unit that we get from augments, or it's somehow generated. I don't know exactly what this means, but just keep that in mind. There is a Lissandra that doesn't cost anything, but we'll just focus on the effect. All allies gain spell power. At 2, 20% spell power. So this is all allies. Keep that in mind. All allies. And at 3, Arcanists gain additional 40%. So they gain 60% Arcanists, while everyone else gets 20%. Then at 4, 30% for all allies and 60% for Arcanists. And at 5, 120% for all allies. That is a massive buff, or a massive change between 4 and 5. That is a huge difference. 100%, 120% for all allies. So maybe a full Arcanist, with the 5 is a comp that is going to be pretty popular. I'm not exactly sure how strong 120% is, but it's definitely a lot better than 2, 3, and 4. If you want to play a Arcanist and go for maybe a carry, a Victor carry, or maybe Vex or Malzahar, and this is Lux, depending on what is the best unit to go with, or maybe this actually might be a reroll comp. We've got a lot of cheap units here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This might actually be the Ziggs reroll comp, where you go with the 5 Arcanists with 120% for all allies. Yeah, I can actually see that. Reroll Arcanist Ziggs. I can see that. That seems like that could potentially be a very good comp. And then we got Bodyguard, which I believe is actually called Heroes in the English version. But yeah, Heroes. We've got Darius, Poppy, Blitzcrank, Leona, Braum, and Galio. And once again, we've got another unit that doesn't have a cost, which I believe is Pantheon. It's either Tryndamere or Pantheon, but I think it's Pantheon. At the beginning of the battle, Bodyguard will gain additional armor for a short time after the start of the round. Bodyguard will taunt nearby enemies. So this is going to be your big tanks that get a bunch of armor, your counter to AD comps. Now, it doesn't give armor to all units like currently Ironclad does, but it gives armor to your front line, makes your front line tankier, especially against AD comps. So that is going to be Hero. And then scrolling down, next we've got Bruisers, which I believe is actually called Brutes. And this has got Illaoi, Trundle, Vi, Cho'Gath, Zac, Dr. Mundo, and Tom Kench. And it's also got another unit that doesn't have a cost, which is either Warwick or Alistar. I'm pretty sure I recognize that skin. It's the Marauder Warwick, or it's either Marauder Warwick or Marauder Alistar. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, let's take a look at the effect. All allies gain extra health. So this is unlike bodyguards or heroes. Unlike that, this goes to all allies. So this is kind of like Knight's current effect, but instead of blocking damage, it gives all allies extra health. And bruises gain double the bonus. So at 2, it's 150, 300, 500, and then 800. So I think this is going to be one of the best front lines in the game, or one of the most common synergies people take for their front line, which is it's probably going to be like 4 bruises, and then the rest is going to be like your carry. Then you maybe tech in Mystic or something like that. So I think, 4 bruises, like I said, with Jinx and Vi. You can see Vi is a bruiser, or I should say brute. It's actually brute, I think. You can have Vi with 4 bruises and with Jinx as your carry, which we'll talk about later with TwinShot. And then we've got Colossus, which is just the 3 units, pretty expensive, 3 cost, 4 cost, and 5 cost. Cho'Gath, Scion, and Galio, and they've got a very unique effect. Passive, Colossus have bigger body. They are giants, more powerful, and immune to CC. However, it will take up 2 unit population. That is very interesting. It takes up 2 spots. So if, let's say, you're level 8 and you play Cho'Gath, you can only have 7 units on the board, including Cho'Gath. If you want to play 2 of these, that takes up 4 slots. So let's say you're level 8, you only have room for 4 more units, so you have a total of 6 units at level 8 if you want to play 2 of these. At number 1, they get the CC immunity, and the number 2, 30% damage reduction as well. So I'm guessing these units are going to be very, very powerful because they're so expensive to play on the board. However, I will like to point out that Enforcer, their number 1 effect, you just need the 2 Enforcers, seems like the ultimate counter to Colossus. So keep that in mind. They seem like they could be strong, but there is a counter synergy in the game in Enforcers, so keep that in mind. Now moving on, we scroll down to Aegis, which I think is actually called Anti-Mage. We've just got the 4, Kassadin, Garen, Blitzcrank, and Scion, and then there's the additional Morgana as the 0 cost. When an Aegis unit casts a spell, they gain a shield equal to a percentage of their max HP. So you want to be building HP on these units. And then at 2, it's 30%, 3, 35%, 4, 40%, 5, 50%. So there's not like a big difference between going up on the thresholds. So I don't think, going up to 4 or 3 is going to make that much of a difference unless you've got the extra slot, or maybe you're going for a Scion carry. Maybe Scion's like a not a tank and he's more of a damage dealer, but it looks like these units are just going to be tanky frontline units. This is going to be like a frontline synergy that you can play. Then we've got the Assassins. Everyone's favorite comp that's in every single set. We've got Assassins, and they're looking a little bit more spicy, a little bit more interesting than the current set. I don't like the current set Assassins. Nocturne to me is very resident sleeper, and you pretty much can only go with Nocturne carry if you want to play Assassins. Diana is more like a support or CC champion, should I say. Diego is a 5 cost, it's too expensive, and it's basically only, Revenant Assassins with Nocturne carry. There's no sort of Pike reroll comp. And who else is there? There's no... I guess there's a Kha'Zix comp with Chugbug, but that's not really Assassins. That's more Dawnbringer. Anyway, we've got Twitch, Katarina, Talon, Shaco, Echo, and Akali. Assassins, well, we all know what they do. Assassins would jump to their enemy. Their skills can crit and gain additional critical chance and critical damage. 10% and 20%, 30% and 40% and 50%. I think it's... I don't know if it's just... I don't know the exact numbers of the current set, but it's probably exactly the same. And like I was saying, Syndicate Assassins with Shaco and Akali carry. That could be a thing. Otherwise, we could maybe go Imperial Talon. you know, Talons and Imperial, so we can go Imperial Assassins with, you know, maybe Talon as a carry, reroll Talon, or maybe even a Twitch reroll Assassin comp. I don't know, maybe it's an Echo reroll comp. This looks a lot more interesting to play Assassins in set 6. Next, also there's another unit that doesn't have a cost, and that apparently is LeBlanc. It doesn't look like LeBlanc, but apparently it is LeBlanc. Then we got Challenges, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 challenges, and the 2 additional with Trundle and Mordekaiser as the 0 costs. So Camille, Quinn, Warwick, Samira, Fiora, Yone, and Kai'Sa. Now challenges, I've read it before, they do seem, they got basically the same effect as Hellions with they gain attack speed, but their numbers are actually a lot better. Now Hellions, I believe, just got nerfed, so, but anyway. Challenger gains increased attack speed. When their target is killed, they will charge towards the next target. So they've got the Cavalier effect. And gain double attack speed bonus for 2.5 seconds. So they get even more attack speed. And 40% attack speed, 70% attack speed, and 100% attack speed. So let me just Google quickly. Hellions TFT. Let me compare the stats. So obviously, Hellions get their little additional effect, but Hellions right now at 2 only get 10% attack speed. And at 4, they only get 30% attack speed, and at 6, they only get 70% attack speed. So, challenges in terms of the attack speed buff they get is a lot better. A lot better than Hellions is right now. Now, yeah, Hellions you can go up to 8, which gives you 125% attack speed. And the challenges obviously can't go up to 8, but you very rarely went up to 8 Hellions. And it's very easy to get 6 because we've got how many? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's very easy to get to 100%. And they also get it doubled for 2.5 seconds every time they kill a unit. So I think challenges could be kind of crazy. They might get nerfed in the PBE, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm just comparing it to Hellions right now. Then we've got Enchanter, which I believe is just Mystic. We got Lulu, Tarek, Ariana, Janna, and Seraphine, with the extra unit being Victor as the 0 cost, or that we don't know what he does. But anyway, Enchanter's healing and shielding value are increased, and all allies gain magic resistance. We can actually compare Mystic, TFT right now. Let's see what the current Mystic numbers get. So they just get a flat 40% magic resist at 2. So that's between 3. Okay, so it's a little bit different. It has shielding as well. So we can't really do a direct comparison. But at 5, 50% shield and healing, 75 magic resist. So what this means is it's more splashable. You don't need it only against AP comps. Mystic will still have value against AD comps because it gives you the shielding as well. So Mystics is going to be a lot better, I think, in set 6 to just splash in, and just in general. I think you're probably going to be finding that most people are going to be running Mystics no matter what. And then we got Scholars, which has got Lysandra, Heimerdinger, Zyra, Yuumi, and Janna, and then Rise as the extra unit. Passive. They've got a passive. Scholars attacks cause magic damage. I think that's just their basic attacks cause magic damage. And then all allies gain mana every 2 seconds. So this is all allies, so it's kind of like Invoker. I guess we can, let me just quickly Google Invoker, TFT. I think it's slightly different. So every 2 seconds you get 5 mana Invoker. All allies get bonus mana from their basic attack. So Invokers right now you get 3 mana for every basic attack. So most units, so it's pretty much the same. You could actually argue that this is stronger. This is stronger than Invoker. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is stronger than Invoker. A lot stronger than, in fact, at 6, It would be pretty hard to get 6 scholars, but at 6 it's just ridiculous. It's completely broken compared to invokers, because invokers right now gives you bonus mana from their basic attack. So you get 6 mana from each basic attack, which you compare this, for every 2 seconds you're getting 30 mana. Yeah, I think scholars are a lot stronger than the current invokers. But it seems like most things are a lot stronger right now, giving a lot of room for nerfs. Moving on to snipers, we got Caityln, Kog'Maw, Tristana, Misfortune, and Jhin. Just the 5 snipers, and snipers will deal increased damage based on distance from the target, 9% per grid or per hex, 16%, and then 30%. I'm not too crazy about snipers right now. I don't like this effect. It's very good. It's very good in some situations, but very bad in other situations. So, like, if you're playing against assassins, it's gonna be really bad. So snipers are definitely gonna be countered by assassins. So I'm not too sure how good this will be. I'm not too sure about the numbers either. But not too hyped on this type of effect. But like I said, it does have Jhin, and I want to play Jhin. I think you're just going to be playing the 2 snipers, and you're going to focus on the effect you get from Clockwork when you want to play Jhin. But we're going to have to wait and see what Jin's ability is. Then we got TwinShots. We got Graves, Kog'Maw, Gangplank, Urgot, and Jinx. And this is like gunslingers from set 1. When TwinShots attack, they have a chance to attack twice. Then it's 2, it's 33%, 50%, then 75%, then 100%. So you can go with the 5 TwinShots. But like I was saying before, 4 brutes, 4 TwinShots sounds like a very viable comp with running both Vi and Jinx. Jinx as you carry, maybe you have Graves as your item holder till you eventually get Jinx. And you got like a duo carry with Urgot and Jinx. That, to me, sounds very strong. And then your front line is obviously the Bruisers. That seems like a very viable comp that I think will probably be very popular in the beginning. Then we got Innovators, Ezreal, Singed, Zilean, Heimerdinger, and Jace. So this is going to be like Abominations. Creates a mechanical partner to join the battle. At 2, it's a mechanical beetle. 4, it's a mechanical bear. And then 5 is a mechanical dragon. So I think it's going to be very similar to Abominations. It's just not Scion running at you. It'll just be a mechanical beetle or bear instead. So this is, yeah, basically just like Abominations. You obviously have to wait until the game is released on PvTE to see how strong this mechanical unit is. And Yordles we've talked about, so that is all the traits, that is all the origins, all the synergies, all the effects. And now, I'm going to show you a team comp based on this that I've put together for Jhin. I know Jhin is a big fan favorite, so I thought I'd make a Jhin comp. And this is the comp. This is a fast 8 comp, because Jin's obviously a 4-cost, so it's pretty much like a fast 8 comp. And then have a look at this. I have got Jhin, Kog'Maw. So what does this give? Jhin and Kog'Maw gives you the sniper effect. Then we got Cho'Gath and Dr. Mundo, which give you Brute, as well as Mutants. You get the 3 Mutants with Kog'Maw. So this could be like a duo carry with Kog'Maw and Jhin, but I think you want to focus on Jhin. Maybe reroll Kog'Maw will be some sort of comp, but anyway, you get the 3 Mutants with the Brute front line. Then obviously Cho'Gath is a Colossus, so you can, and when you get to level 8, you can only run 7 units, so keep that in mind. So I've only got the 7 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you finish off the comp with Clockwork, because you want the attack speed buff from Ariana. And we're just running the 2 Clockworks. Maybe it will be worth it to run the 4, but you would have to test it out. But right now, we're just running the 2. So you got the 2 snipers, the 2 Clockworks, for the buff for Jhin. And then you also have the celebrities with Taric and Seraphine. And we're not too sure if Jhin is going to require mana, how important mana will be. So if mana is not too important, you might just cut down to the one celebrity and just focus on the buff you get from the 15% damage bonus. So we're running Taric and Seraphine, and this will give you 3 Mystic. And like I said, Mystic is a lot more splashable. It will be a lot more splashable because it's not just anti-AP, it's got the shielding as well, which means it's pretty decent against AD or it's decent against every comp, basically. It gives you some sort of value. And then I also added, maybe you add Yuumi instead, because it seems like Yuumi might be a very good unit just on her own, without any synergies, as just a buff for Jhin. You know, you just attached Yuumi to Jhin. So maybe that could be something you add in. And then at level 9, you get rid of Seraphine or Taric and you add Galio, which will give you 2 Colossuses. So you got a pretty powerful front line at level 9. And so basically at level 8, you've got 2 snipers, 3 mutants, 2 brutes, 2 clockworks, 3 mystics, 2 celebrities, 1 colossus. And at level 9 you've got 2 snipers, 3 mutants, 2 clockworks, 2 mystics, 2 celebrities, and 2 colossus. And then I even sort of theorized the early game. In the early game you play like Caityln as your item holder for Jhin. You've got Kog'Maw, Vi, Trundle, Kassadin, and Malzahar as your level 6. And then you can begin to transition at level 7. At level 7 you can maybe replace Kassadin or Malzahar. Kassadin for just Cho'Gath, because remember Cho'Gath costs 2, so you can't actually add an extra unit, you have to replace a unit. But early game you've got the 2 snipers, 3 mutants, 2 enforcers, and 2 brutes. Or another variation would be Kog'Maw, Caityln, Blitzcrank, Kassadin, Malzahar, Darius with 2 snipers, 3 mutants, 2 heroes, and 2 anti-mages. So that is the team comp that I've made so far. Also, I've also recommended or thought about, it's very basic, 4 brutes and the 4 twin-shot with like a duo carry with Urgot and Jinx. Now we're gonna have to wait and see, is Urgot more of a carry or is he just he's just like a tank? Then maybe you go for the Gangplank and Jinx kind of carry, or maybe once again it will be another Kog'Maw, because remember we do have 2 mutants in here. But remember, once again, Cho'Gath costs 2 units, which is a bit annoying when you're team building, but it's going to make it very interesting. Anyway, that is the team comp I've got for Jhin, and I'll definitely be testing it out. And I guess I'll probably be testing out challenges as well, because I think challenges is going to be absolutely insane. Probably like 6 challenges and maybe just the 2 brutes as your front line. Or maybe, yeah, 2 brutes, 2 brutes. I think Warwick synergizes as a Chemtech with Dr. Mundo. So 2 brutes, 6 challenges with maybe a Yone as your carry, or Fiora, or even Kai'Sa. Oh, Kai'Sa's a mutant as well. So yeah, it definitely, those are the 3 comps that come to mind that I'll definitely be testing out when the PBE comes out. Anyway, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, have a nice day.